Okay, it's a subtle, it's a gross form, and vichara is like the thought about that thing. This is subtle form, and ananda is like feeling joy and feeling peace like this, and asmita is like simple awareness of individuality. Okay, so when these four things come into the concentration, okay, it's called sampragyata. Okay, now asampragyat. Now in this, when okay, just simply when we have these four things, vitark, vichar, and asmita, while concentration is known as sampragyat, and we when they're apart from the concentration, that's called asampragyat. Okay, that's coming just a little higher way. Okay, it's like a staircase. Okay, we are coming up. Sampragyat, asampragyat. These okay, I'll explain all the stages combined. Okay, then we these two are known as sabhi samadhi. Then we come to nirbij in Dharmameg. Then lastly, we go to Keval. Okay, now Asampragya Samadhi. Okay, so it's simply like when there is no Vitark, Vichar, Anand, and Ashmita, we can say simply. Okay, when the definition say Viram Pratyo Abhyas Purva Sanskar Shesho Anya. Okay, when the consciousness contains no objects. Okay, only some conscious impressions are there. Okay, this is the important part of the sutra, as it says, like when we are concentrating on this and anything, like when we are focusing, when we are doing samadhi, so there will be no objects, only the sanskar or the impression which are there in the mind, they will remain. Okay, when only the impressions are there in our mind, that's called asampragyat samadhi. Okay, okay. Now there comes one concept of samapatti. Okay, so it's just simply a complete absorption of mind. Let's see the definition. Shin Vityur Vijatasyev Maren Grihit Grahan Grahayeshu Tatsas Tadan Janta Samapatti. It says, saying just as a pure crystal take colors from the object which is near to the mind, so the mind, when it is clear of thought waves, achieve sameness of identity with the object of its concentration. Simple. Okay, when we are like near to something, so we'll fear that vibe. Okay, we'll absorb that vibes and be becoming like that. Okay, for example, they are giving the example of crystal. Okay, so it's if it's near to some colorful object, so it will take the color of that thing. Okay, the same as like we are concentrating on an object. Okay, this is some object. This is mine. So it's saying the mind becoming that object. Okay, that mind is completely absorbing that thing. The complete absorption is happening. It's becoming one. Okay. Firstly, these are the two different things. There will be an object, there will be a mind. Okay. So when they're completely absorbing themselves into one whole thing, that's called as samapatti. Okay. And also it says like the receiver received and the things of receiving becomes one. Okay. Grihit, Grahan, and Grahayusha, they become one. Okay. And in this, we have it says like the mind becomes free from the vrittis. Now coming to the Savitark and Nirvitark. Okay, we have seen like the Sampragya Samadhi where we have Vitark, Vichar, Anand, and Ashmita. These are the states. So we are talking about Vitark. It has two parts. Okay, Savitark and Nirvitark. Okay, let's see. So the when Savitark Samadhi, when the mind achieves identity with a gross object, okay, just remember the gross objects of concentration mixed with awareness of name, quality, and knowledge. Okay, so firstly, Vitark is like concentrating or the knowledge of identity of gross thing. Okay, it's totally on the gross thing. Okay, so when we combine this Vitarka with name, quality, and knowledge, okay, For example, we see any chair. Okay, so we know the name of the chair or like the quality or some details about it. Okay, for example. So that's like we are having the name, quality, and knowledge of that gross object. Okay, the object here is gross and mixed with name, quality, and knowledge. Okay, this is called as Savitak, Savitak Samadhi. And in Nirvitak, when we achieve the identity of gross object unmixed with the awareness of name, quality, and knowledge. Okay, so it's simply saying we have object when we are mixing that gross object with the name, quality, and knowledge. Okay, they are the three things. That's called Savitark Samadhi. And when we are not mixing the name, quality, and knowledge, that's called Nirmita, Nirvitak. Okay, the main goal is we are concentrating on this gross object. Okay, there will be a gross object. We are focusing, concentrating on that. At the first stage, there will be like the mixture of name, quality, and knowledge of that thing. Okay, that's called Savitark Samadhi. And later on the stage, when these things got away from that concentration, that become Nirvitark Samadhi. Okay, yeah, same thing. Just like if you look to any desk, we know it's like shape, color, how it is made. So that's Savitar. And when that things disappear, like we are just focusing on that chair, we know nothing is like about the shape, the color, or anything, any qualities coming up on that concentration. So that become Nirvita. Okay, these are like a step wise. Okay, now the same comes the Savichar and Nirvichar. Just remember Vitarka Vichara is Vitarka is on the gross and Vichara is on subtle. Okay, both the things are same. Now, when we are concentrating in a subtle object, so two types of samadhi, savichar, nirvichar. Same savichar is mixed with name, quality, and knowledge. And again, if the same disappear, it becomes nirvichar. Okay, simple. And it's just simply saying behind all subtle object is prakriti, the primal cause. Okay, from the prakriti, everything is evolved and come into existence. Now coming to Sabij Samadhi. Okay. Hmm. So the Samadhi which we have read or which we have discussed, these all are Sabij Samadhi. The Samadhi with the seed. Okay. There is something, some object is there. Okay. So now it's saying that the sanskara pratibandhi. The impression which is made upon the mind by that samadhi wipes out all other past impression. Okay. Now, so there will be some impression made from the Sabir Samadhi. Okay. So it wipes out all the impression which is in our past. Okay. Simple. Now coming to the Nirbij Samadhi. This is the upper stage of the after stage of the Sabir Samadhi. When the impression made by the Samadhi is also wiped out so that there is no more thought waves at all in the mind. Then one enters the samadhi, which is called seedling. Okay. Now, as we have discussed here, that Sabir Samadhi has its own impressions. Okay. Sabir Samadhi has will make some impression on your mind, which removing the past impression. Okay. Past impression. Remove it. Now, when these impression, the impression which are made from the Sabir Samadhi also disappear. Okay. Then it goes to Nirbij Samadhi. Okay, hope you're getting this. Okay, now, okay, it's just simply some simple topics like in reaching Nirvichar Samadhi, the mind becomes pure and knowledge same. In the Samadhi, knowledge is said to be filled with truth. Like it's the simple concept. Like when we are in a Samadhi state or like pure bliss, fully like absorbed state, so the mind become pure. Okay, and will be filled with truth. We'll be having the knowledge of our true self. Okay. These are simple qualities we'll be having. Okay. Now, okay. This is important, like talking about the Ritambhara Pragya. So, the knowledge which is gained from the inference and the study of scripture is knowledge of one kind. Okay. This is talking about the knowledge we got from the inference or the study of scriptures. But the knowledge which is gained from samadhi is much higher order. Okay. It goes beyond inference and scriptures. So it's saying like this is the knowledge of which we get from the inference or like from the scriptural readings. Okay. But the knowledge which we getting from the samadhi, this will be little higher order because this more in the subtle form. Okay, more telling about the Atman, Paramatman, and more about the experience. Okay, so this will be some higher order knowledge. Okay, now this is not okay. The concept of Ishvara is there. So Ishvara Pranidhanadva. Okay, it come mostly in like when we have to remove those let's say like Vyadhi Styan, okay, those other Chitta Prasadana. Okay, so for removing them also it says like Ishwar Pranidhanad, okay, by completely devoting to the Ishwara. Okay, and it's also said like concentration. Here it's talking about Samadhi. Can also be attained through devotion to Ishwara. Okay, this is one of the path for getting that Samadhi. The next, they're telling about who is Ishvara. Okay. Klesh karma vipakashir paramrishta purush vishesha Ishvara. Okay. One who is being untouched by kleshas or untouched by the karma's fruit. Okay. These are the like vipaka are like the fruits of karma. So who is untouched by these things and he is purush vishesha. Okay. So that's known as the Ishvara. These are the like qualities. Okay. Let's read this. Ishvara is a special kind of being untouched by ignorance and the product of ignorance, not subject to karma or sanskara or the result of action. Okay, he's like there's nothing touching him, just like the karma or the sanskara. He's like away from those things. Okay, that's the Ishvara. Okay, so some attributes of Ishvara or the qualities we can say. Tatra Nirutishayam Sarvajya Bija. Okay, for in him the knowledge is infinite. Okay, so he's having the whole knowledge of the universe. Okay, everything is like sarva gyapi or sarvyapi, whole knowledge. Nothing is left out from him. Okay, and next attribute they say saha sa esha purvesha mapi guru kalena avacheda. Okay, he was the teacher even of the earliest teacher. Okay, since he is not limited by time. Okay, so time like he is not also affected by the time, either it's the past, present, or something like a previous year or the coming year. So this time frame is not affecting him. And also, he's the teacher of the earliest teacher. Okay, whatever the earliest teacher you remember, he's the teacher of that teacher also. Okay, or we can say the guru of all. Okay. Now, process of Ishwar Pranidhana, Tasya Vachikaha Pranava. Pranava here is Om. So, Om is like signifying that Ishwar, signifying, okay, signifying that Ishwar. And we must repeat this word with meditation upon its meaning. Okay, Taj Jap Vas Tadat Bhavana, which is simply saying we should do the japa of this Omkara, okay, with its meaning. And what's the result of Ishwar Pranidhana? Atma and destruction of the knowledge of Atma and the destruction of obstacles to that knowledge. Okay. So we'll get the knowledge of Atma and whatever the obstacles are coming, there will be the destruction of those obstacles. Okay. So this was the part which was left out from the first and second chapter. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay, it's audible, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's move to the third pada. Okay, so it's like a Vibhuti like are the Siddhis. Okay, it's the whole chapter mostly talks about like if you're doing some sanyam on this thing, so we'll be getting this thing. Okay, let's go. Okay, so in the second pada, we have discussed like in the last week, go like as we come to the end of the second pada, there is talking about the Stang Yoga. It's text about Yama, Niyama, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyaham. Okay, these are the five things. Okay, now in the third chapter, we'll be discussing about Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. Okay, let's again go one more time. Okay, as we have discussed in the starting. So, Dharana, Desh Bandasya Chittasya Dharana. Okay, when we bind our chitta to the desha, that's called as dharana. Okay, so simple concentration is holding the mind within the center of spiritual consciousness in the body or fixing it some divine form either within the body or outside. Okay, so it's simple saying like if you are focusing on any object, it can be outside. Okay, it can be inside, antarang or bahir. Okay, so that's known as dharana. Simple. Okay, now dhyana tatra pratyaya ektanata. Okay, dhyana. Dhyana is an unbroken flow of thoughts towards the object of concentration. Okay, the same as I've discussed. When we are focusing on something, there will be a distracted flow. When this distracted flow becomes like unbroken, a continuous, let's become dhyana. Okay, simple. And samadhi, when we merge with the object, when we become one with that object, is known as samadhi. Okay, when the swarup is becoming shunya. Okay. Now coming to Sanyam, what is Sanyam? Okay. Now Trayam Ikat Sanyama. When Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi becomes one. Okay, that's known as Sanyama. When these three, concentration, meditation, and absorption, are brought to bear upon one subject, they are called Sanyam. Okay. It's saying like what the benefit of it. Tajyat Pradyalokaha. Through mastery of Sanyama comes the light of knowledge. Okay, the higher consciousness dawn. Simply, like when we combining these three, so we'll be like more going to the higher stages of samadhi or the higher stages of evolution. Okay, so though, so there coming the lights of knowledge. Okay, because we are knowing the things of the higher order. Okay, so let's go next. Uh, okay, Prem Prem Antarangam Puriyebhya. Okay, let's see. These three are more directly. Okay, just simply saying like Ashtanga Yoga is divided into two parts, Bahirang and Antarang. Okay, so it's saying these Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi belongs to the more Antarang part, belongs to the Antarang part. Okay, because they are morely focused on something which is inside. Okay, this is a simple explanation. But ठीक ठीक है okay, these dharana dhyan samadhi is antarang to ashtanga yoga. Okay, but these are external to nirbid samadhi. Okay, let's see how it is. Okay, so let me explain here. Okay, I'll just show you that slide. Let's go. Okay, so this is the sequence. Okay, dharana, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. These are antarang. to Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga, okay, Ashtanga Yoga. Okay, these are the internal things of Ashtanga Yoga. But when we see the Sabit Samadhi here, okay, or sorry, when we see the Nirbis Samadhi here, then these are the external things. Okay, for Ashtanga, these are antarang, but for Nirbis Samadhi, these are external. Okay, let's see these steps. Firstly, there comes Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. Okay, then as we reaching to the Samadhi stage, is divided. It's come up to the Vitark, where we have discussed Savitark, Nirvitark. This is the gross form of object. Okay, and then coming to the subtle form Vichara, then Ananda, then Nashmita. Okay, and all these are sabij. Okay, samadhi with the seed, with the object. Okay, and after this Ashmita part, we move to the Nirbis Samadhi, where we merge, where we nothing, just the changeless truth. Okay, or we're just complete merging with that truth. Then we come to Dharmic Samadhi. We'll discuss this. And after this Dharmic Samadhi, we completely or we finally go to the Moksha part. Okay, so this is the staircase from dharana to the Kaivalya, okay, to the moksha. Okay, hope you get this. Let's get back to the topic. Just a second. Okay, we are here. Okay, hope you got this. Okay, dharana, dhyana, samadhi are antarang to ashtanga yoga, but bahirang to nirbid samadhi. Okay, this is saying the same. Okay, now there comes this important topic of chitta sanskara, or we see the different parinamas. Okay, parinama simply mean the changes. Okay, sure. Okay, so there are three parinama. First is, okay, the sequence is given up and down. When we go detail about this, they say first come the samadhi, okay, second come ekagrita, and third come the nirodh parinama. Okay, so we'll go step by step. First, let's study samadhi parinama. When all mental distraction disappear and the mind become one pointed, it enters the state called samadhi. Okay, the form of the definition of samadhi. Okay, so here concentration and distraction of mind are appearing and disappear. Okay, just simply uh, note this point, like the construction, the concentration and distraction of mind will appear in this samadhi parinama, transformation in the samadhi. Okay, parinama is change or transformation, you can say. So in samadhi parinama, the destruction and concentration appear and disappear. Okay, just simply remember this. Then coming to ekagrita parinama, it say the mind become one pointed when similar thought waves arises in succession without any gaps between them. Let's understand this. Okay, in Samadhi Parinam, what is happening? The concentration is coming, then there's coming distraction. Okay, then again concentration and distraction. And there may be some different object. Okay, first time we are concentrating on something, then the mind get distracted, now concentrating on something different. Okay, this is the form of Samadhi Parinama. Okay, and now in Ekagrita Parinama, what's happening? Like we are focusing on any one object. Okay, then there is a subtle distraction, and again then the object coming same 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 same. Okay, so the distraction point here is very short. Okay, so it's felt like we are not even distracting, just it feels like a continuous flow. Okay, hope you got in this. Okay, it's saying like a similar thought waves arises, like a similar thought waves mean a same object concentration on same object is arising, there will be a mind distracted, but again, it's again just in a minute second, it's connecting with the same object, same object, same object. So it becomes like a continuous flow. Okay, like the concentration rises and subsides. Okay, or like we are focusing on any omkara while doing japa. Okay, om. There will be something for a minute second we're distracted and again go back to the omkara. Okay, so that will be felt like a complete flow. For example, like what happens in a video. Okay, there are pictures, different pictures moving up. Okay, so there are stable pictures which are moving up. So there, the gap between two pictures is so small or the very minute that we can't differentiate the gap. Okay, and it felt like a whole video. Same like that. Sorry, same like this. The ekagrita parinama works. Okay, the concentration of object going in a continuous flow. The distraction time is very short. Okay, we are not even knowing it. So it seems like a full complete flow. Okay, hope you're getting this. Now coming to the Nirodh Pranama. This is the third part. Okay, now in Ekagrita Parinama, we focusing on an object. Okay, the focus which is continuous. Now here we try to remove this object. Okay, when this object is also removed from the concentration, that's called the Nirodh Parinama. Okay, let's see what they have written. When the vision of the lower Samadhi is suppressed by the act of conscious control, so that there is no longer any thoughts or vision in the mind, that is the achievement of control of the thought waves of them. It's simply saying we have to control the thought waves, and the vision of the lower samadhi is suppressed, means the object is suppressed. Okay, which is like the object will be suppressed from here. So this now this concentration or this flow will be known as Nirodh Parinama. Okay. So when the suppression of thought waves become continuous, now we are suppressing those objects or the thought waves. So our mind will become, the mind flow is calm. The mind will become silence or the calm. Okay. So these are the three changes, three transformation. Okay. Hope you got this. Now the Parinam Traya. Okay. Okay. Let's see. In this state, it passed beyond the three kinds of changes which take place in a subtle or gross manner. Okay. So whatever the element or sense organ you having, okay, when it passes, okay, everything has some changes in their form. With the like change in the form, change in the time, change in the condition, there will be some effect. Okay. Here they have given example of gold. Okay. So you can change the form of it like you're making it in a bracelet or earring, nose ring, anything you can make it. With the time, it loses its quality or like somewhere it is not as same as it was a 1 year ago. Okay, and with condition also it will be changed. Okay, so here they are saying when the mind become will not affect from these three things with the time. Okay, in this state it passes beyond the three kinds of changes. Okay, when these three changes are not affecting the mind, that's known as parinam traya. Okay, so yeah, a simply saying is beyond all three kinds of changes. Okay, now they're saying like a compound object has attributes and is subject to change, either past, present, or yet to be made. Simple, like when there is change coming to a form or to anything, there will be something, something that the root is there which will be not changing. Okay, or the true form of that thing which will not change. For example, I, the self, the Atma. Okay. Our body from the birth to death is changing. It like first growing, then decaying. Every minute, every second, the cells are dying, new cells are growing. But that self, the Atma is non-changeable, not it's aging, not it's destroying or anything happen. It's there from the eternal in the same form. Okay, that's the thing they want to say. Okay, the succession of these changes is the cause of manifold evolution. Simply, these are the change which are coming with the time form, and they are the causes of the transformation which we are seeing in any object or anything. Okay, yeah, this is also the example. Like when a mud changes, okay, it becomes like a pot. This is known as the transformation. Okay, but the true form of will be always the mud. Okay, this is the true form. The thing which comes in between is known as transformation. Okay, simple. Now coming to vibhutis. Okay, now making uh, it's saying parinam traya sanyam ma tatitana gata jnana. By making sanyama on three kinds of changes, one obtain knowledge of past and future. Here the three kinds of changes are parinam traya. These samadhi, ekagrita, and nirodha. When we sanyama on this, sanyama is like fully focused. When we fully merging in these three things, then we obtaining the knowledge of past and future. Okay, it's like a siddhi. When we are doing sanyama, fully focused, fully dissolved in these three kinds of changes, which are samadhi, ekagrita, and nirodha. Okay, so we'll obtain the knowledge of past and future. Next, they are saying by making sanyama on the sound of a word. Okay, when we perceive its meaning and reaction, everything. Okay, then we obtain understanding of all sounds uttered by living beings. Okay, when we are fully focused or we sanyam on shabd, arth, and pratyay, as it says, shabd, arth, shabdarth, pratyayani. Okay, just follow the sutra. So it's saying this will be getting the power of understanding all sounds uttered by the living beings. Okay, we have to focus on or do sanyam on shabd, arth, and pratyay. Okay, the word, object, and the mental content of it. Okay, then we'll be getting the understanding of all sounds uttered by living beings. Okay, these are simple, just you have to learn like in which thing you're doing sanyama and what's the result you get. Okay, now the next 18 sutra says by making sanyama on the previous thought waves or the impression, okay, the sanskara we say, one obtain knowledge of the past life. Okay, simple. Next, by making sanyama on the distinguished marks of another man's body, one obtain knowledge of the nature of mind. Like if you are focusing on someone's body or someone mental content, so we'll be having the knowledge about his mind or about his nature. Okay. Next, if one makes sanyama on the form of one body, then obstructing its perceptibility and separating its power of manifestation from the eyes of the beholder, then one body becomes invisible. Okay, so it's saying like if we are focusing in our own body, or like we are doing sanyama in our own body form, so we'll become invisible to the other person. Okay, so like our body will be having no contact with the eyes of the receiver. Okay, so simply focusing on our own form, will be becoming invisible. Okay, next, uh, by making sanyama on two kinds of work. Okay, this two kinds of karma. Saying there, here is karma like active and dormant, like Sopakarma and Nirupkarma. Okay, Sopakarma, Nirupkarma. So active karma are like which bear or which will be bearing fruit soon. And Nirup karma or dormant karma are like which will bear fruit at the later stage. Okay. Soap karma are like active karma which bearing fruit soon, and Nirup karma which will bear fruit later stage. Okay. So when we focus on these two type of karma, or when we do sanyama on these two karma, so we'll know the exact time of the death. Okay, the knowledge of death will be gained. Okay, and Maitreya Tishu Balani is simply, if you go through the sutra of first chapter, I think 33 is there. Maitri Karuna Mudito Pikshanam Punya Punya, like this. So it's saying when we sanyam those qualities, okay, Maitri Karuna Mudito Upekshana, okay, friendliness, compassion, happiness, indulgence. So one develops those powers of these qualities. Okay, simple. Okay. By making sanyama on any kind of strength, such as that of elephant, one obtain that strength. Okay. So whatever object or whatever being we do sanyama, or the strength of that thing will come into us. Like if you're focusing on doing sanyama on the elephant, okay, so we'll get the strength of that being, that elephant. Okay. And next, by focusing sanyama on the inner light, one object's knowledge of what is subtle, hidden, or far distant. Okay. So when we focus on the inner light, the inner knowledge or inner thing, the Atma, so we'll obtain the knowledge of what is subtle, hidden, or far distant. Whatever will be there as a subtle form or in any hidden form, will be knowing that thing. Okay, next, by making sanyama on the sun, one gains knowledge of cosmic spaces, simply the solar system. Okay, by sun, we're getting the knowledge of solar system. And by the sanyama on moon, we'll get the knowledge of arrangements of stars. Okay, and by the sanyama on pole star, we one gain knowledge of the motion of the stars. Okay, these are simply sanyama and the results we get. Like sanyama on the navel point, we'll get the knowledge of constitution, the arrangement of our body. Okay, and the sanyama on the hollow of the throat, the pit. Okay, one stills hunger and thirst. We can control the hunger and thirst. Okay, and by sanyama on the tube within the chest, one acquire absolute motionness. Okay, just like uh, here it's saying like Kurmanalaya Sthariam. Kurmanalaya means the tube within the chest is the place for the Kurnari. Okay, Kurnari is like when we do Jalandhar Bandha, the chin touching to the chest. Okay, wherever it's touching, that's the place of that Kurmanari. Okay, when we do Sanya on that, so we'll acquire the absolute motionless. Motionless means nobody can move us. Okay, like we have that type of strength. We are firmly fixed at any particular space or any particular point. Okay, no one can move us. Next, by making sanyama on the radiance within the back of the head, one become able to see the celestial being. Okay, um, move back of the head is, we can say the place of Sahasrara chakra. Okay, so when we are focusing on that, on it's also known as Murdha. Okay, when we are just focusing on that or sanyama on that, so we're able to see celestial beings, various masters of yoga. Means like someone is doing his sadhana or doing samadhi. Okay, so he'll get some light from the outer spaces, we can say, or like some being are present in our spaces. Okay, they are just like giving you hint in some form or some way. They will just give you that point. Okay, they're not physically present there, but somewhere in a some form they are connecting with you. So same like that. When we are focusing on the Sahasrara, various masters of yoga, we able to see them, not physically, by connecting with them in a mental space or spiritual thing. Okay, any by any mean they are trying to say that you can see them or you can connect with them. Okay, so all this power of knowledge may also come to one whose mind is spontaneously enlightened through purity, or we can say when someone having an intuition. Okay, so by intuition also these powers of knowledge can come to him. And when we make sanyama on the heart, so we'll gain the knowledge of content of mind. Okay. Uh, let's go to next. The power of enjoyment arises from a failure to discriminate between the Atma and Sattva. By making sanyama on it for not. Okay. It's saying simple. There is chitta and there is Atma. Okay. So we are discriminating, always discriminating these things. Okay. Like this is something else, this is something else, or this is I. There are different discrimination going on there. Okay. When we truly know the Atma, when we gonna like after further or like a certain stage, when we are to knowing that Atma in a pure form, like we are having the right knowledge about that Atma, and when we doing sanyama on that knowledge, okay, when we are doing like we are discriminating that Atma from everything, okay, when we are truly sanyama, doing sanyama on that thing, then we will be getting the knowledge of Atma. Okay. By making sanyama on the independence of Atma alone. Like it's one thing only. Okay. When we are doing on that thing, so we'll be getting the knowledge of Atma. We will be knowing the true form of it. Okay. Mostly we are like connecting Purush and Prakriti together. So, okay. But these two are different things. Purusha alone, Prakriti alone. Okay. So when we focus or sanyama on this discrimination. Okay, this is one, this is one. So then we'll be getting the knowledge of Atma. Okay. Hence, one gain the knowledge due to spontaneous enlightenment and obtains power of hearing, touch, sight. So these are like the supernatural powers of our senses, which we will be getting on Sanyama on the Purusha. Okay. So like when we're going deep into the previous thing, like when we are getting the knowledge of Atma, further we'll be getting the spontaneous enlightenment. Like it's coming continuously. Okay, now we got the knowledge of Atma. Next thing will be happening, the supernatural powers of hearing, touch, sight, taste, smell. Okay, these are the sense organs. So they will become more powerful. Okay, next. Okay, when the bonds of mind caused by karma have been loosened, the yogi can enter into body of another by knowledge of operation. It's simply like uh, when there comes a certain bound, like when we control our mind. Okay, so by controlation of that mind, a person can enter into some another body. Okay, they are simply just they will be having the knowledge of on the operation of nerve currents, like how to move our own self from one body to another. Okay, that's how they are going now. And also, it's saying like by controlling the nerve currents that govern the lungs, simply it's talking about the Udana Prana. Okay. So when we are controlling that part, so yogi can walk on water, swims, thorns, similar objects, and he can diet. Okay. These are simply the powers he will be gaining. And when he like governs the by controlling the force which governs the prana, or here is talking about the Samana Vayu. So he can surround himself with a blaze of light, just like a body blazes. It simply means the aura of that person will be strengthened. Okay. And by Sanyama on air and ether. Okay, these both are connected because ether signifies Shabda. Okay, and air receive the Shabda. Okay. So when we just focus or do Sanyama on these things, so one obtains the supernatural power of air. Okay. And when we Sanyama between body and ether, the yogi can fly through the air. Okay, because the body will be becoming light as a cotton fiber. And when we making Sanyama on thought waves of mind, when it's separated from the body, all coverings can be removed from the light of knowledge. Okay, like this is the knowledge inside us. Okay, this will be covered with something unknown, or like we can say with avidya, or anything it can be. A cover is there. Okay, so when we are Sanyama on our thought wave of mind, okay, when we're completely focusing on our mind, the waves, the thought, the vrittis and all. So after Sanyama, this covering will be removed. Okay, this covering will be removed and will get the light of this knowledge. Okay, next, when we focus, okay, I'm just not going through the fully focusing on the sutra. I'm just explaining the meaning, okay, how it's what they want to say. Okay, now this say like when we sanyam on gross and subtle forms of the elements. Okay, so simply we are focusing on the gross and subtle forms of the elements. So we'll get the mastery over these elements. Okay, next, and when we are gaining the mastery on these elements, so we'll get the Ashta Siddhi. Okay, like Anima, Lagima, Mahima, Garima, Prapti, Prakami, Ishatva. Okay, these are like the Siddhis. So he can gain the power of becoming as tiny as atom. All similar powers. All similar power mean the Ashta Siddhis. Okay. Also the perfection of body, which is no longer subject to the obstruction of element. Okay. Just remember, like when we are focusing on this elements, when we are mastering the elements, we will be getting the Ashta Siddhi. Okay, and the perfection of body. Okay, next it's telling about he. Okay, here he say the perfection of body, and now he telling about what's the perfection of body means. So Roop Lavanya Bal Raj Sahnati Kaya Sampat. Kaya Sampat means perfection of body. It includes beauty. Okay, Roop, the grace, the strength, and the hardness. Okay, of a thunderbolt. Is just giving the example. So beauty, grace, strength, and hardness. These includes in the perfection of a body. Next, okay, next, when we sanyam on a sense organ, okay, sense organ, whatever they contact, whatever the power they have, okay, whatever the gunas they constitute, okay, when we do sanyama on that, we gain mastery of that organ, okay. We are going in depth, okay, we
हेलो
are
क्यों भी
doing,
सर
yes,
सर क्या मतलब ऐसे एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं ऐसे कि जैसे ग्रहण स्वरूप तो ऐसे ग्रहण का क्या मीनिंग है स्वरूप का ऐसे करके तो इस लोग ज्यादा अच्छे से क्लियर हो जाता है सर क्योंकि कई बार ना नेट में ऐसे मीनिंग पूछ लेते हैं इसका मीनिंग क्या ऐसे क्या मतलब सेंस निकल रहा है जैसे इंद्रिय तो ये सर थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम होता है
okay,
समझने
I'll just try. Here, so if I'll go on explaining these sutras, it will just become like a whole class, okay? Because we are just doing reason, so I thought like make it short. Okay,
अच्छा सर
I'll just try.
थोड़ा सा मीनिंग समझने को
Yeah, okay. Okay, so like here you're saying like Grahan Swarupas Mitanvya Yat Swasanyamadi Indriya. Okay, like okay, so it's simply like when we are Grahan Swarupa, like Grahan, like it's talking about Grahan Visha, like smelling. thing or talking about the sense organ. Okay. So when we are doing sanyama on this indriya means that we gain the mastery of the indris. Okay. The mastery over the sense organ. So we're not just focusing on the sense organ, we just doing sanyama on like whatever the contact or the power they have. Okay. The gunas they constitute as an organ. Okay. And like when we talking about the net exam, so as I've seen the previous questions, they mostly ask like what Siddhi you will be getting, or like mostly just remember, like if you focus on these things, or like if you do sanyama on this thing, what will be the result of it? Okay, so mostly focus on this. Now next, uh, and further for the result, they are saying just three things: the attainment, speed of mind, function without instrument, and complete control over Prakriti. Okay. Tato Mano Chavitvam, Vikaran, Bhava, and Pradhanascha, like control over Prakriti, and Mano Chavitva, like winning the mind. Okay. So one gain the power of movement as rapid as that of mind. Okay. So we can move with the speed of mind. The power of using the sense organ as outside the confines of the body and the mastery over the prakriti. Okay. So for doing any work, we will not be needing any instrument. Okay. And at last, the mastery over the prakriti. Uh, okay. Next, so it's saying by making sanyama on the discrimination between sattva guna and the atma. It's saying sattva guna here, it means when we go for the detail, it's saying the chitta. When we discriminate these two things, okay, one gain omnipotence and omniscient, like he will be having all the knowledge and all the powers, okay, Sarva Sakti or Sarva Gyani we say in Hindi, okay, okay. Next, by making sanyama on single movements and on the sequence of time, one gain discriminative knowledge. Okay, let's see this. Okay, just simply saying that when we do sanyama on the every single second or the how the time is going on, what is the sequence of time. Okay, so one gain discriminative knowledge. Discrimination here simply mean when we know the difference between the thing. Okay, so the descriptive knowledge means the realization of ultimate truth. Okay. Next, next, uh, this one is able to distinguish between two exactly similar objects, which can be distinguished, cannot be distinguished by their species, character, marks. So, like if we are having the same, we are having the two objects, okay, with the same species, character, marks, or position in space. Okay. So one having the discriminative knowledge, he can distinguish or yeah he can distinguish between these two objects. Okay, he will be having that much power, like even if the two things are seen similar to us, he will be distinguishing those things. Okay, okay, so the sutra is saying like jati lakshana desh, so whatever the species or the character is having, and Tishar Antyana Vachedat Tulya Yusat Paripati. It's saying like even if having the object in the same Jati, Lakshan or Desh, okay, and they seem as like a same object. Okay, so the person having the distinguished knowledge will be able to distinguish between those exact similar objects. Okay, And when the person having this discriminative knowledge, it's simply free from the bondage of ignorance. Okay, it's like he knows the true form even after the changes. Okay, like a things, a object going to a certain change and becoming another object. Even you know the person having discriminative knowledge, he's having the knowledge of this true form. Okay, even after the change. And next, so it's saying Sattva Purusho Shuddhi Samye Kaivalya. So perfection is attained when the mind becomes as pure as the Atma self. Okay, so mind when becoming pure as Atma. Okay, so the perfection will be attained. Okay, so these are like the siddhis. Okay, like I have not tell about the sutra particular meaning, so you can just go through the book. Okay, I'll recommend the 4 chapters of freedom for this. Okay, you can just see the words and their meaning. Okay, these are simple. Just try to catch the real meaning behind them. Okay, what they are really want to say. And for this Vibhuti part, just remember the siddhi and how on what thing we are doing the sanyama. Okay, that's all for the Vibhuti. I think this is simple because we have to just doing the sanyama and the siddhi will we are getting about it. Okay, okay, let's complete this. So we're coming to the last chapter. That's Kaivalya Pada. Okay. So starting for the first sutra, it gives the 5 means of siddhis. Okay. Jan. So these are the 5: Jan, Aushadhi, Mantra. Okay. Tapa and Samadhi. 5. This simply the 5 means by which we can gain the siddhi. Okay. Janma, Aushadhi, Mantra, Tapa, Samadhi, Siddhi. Okay. Now next, Jatyantar Parinama Prakatya Pura, the transformation of in one species into another is caused by the inflowing in nature. Okay, so it's like the change, okay, which is going on. It's already in there in that object. For example, if you are burning a wood, okay, the burning is known as the transformation. Okay, and after transforming, there will be ash. Okay, so the sutra is saying like this ash is already subsides or already in there in that wood. Okay, hope you're getting this. This transformation, the like the result of the transformation, what we are getting, it's already there in the object. Okay, the transformation of one species into another is caused by the inflowing in of nature. Like it already have that particular nature. Okay. Next, it's saying good or bad deeds are not the direct causes of transformation. Okay? The good or bad deeds are not causes of transformation. They just removing the obstacles of the natural evolution. Okay, just like as a farmer break down the obstacles in a water course, so that water flow through its own nature. Okay, so same as we are doing our karma, so we can flow with our original nature. It's like the flow is going, keep doing our karma, and that's just helping us. They are just the karma, bad or good, they are just like a helping hand. They're helping us to go or which helping us to inflow in this nature. Okay. Now there comes the concept of Nirman Chitta. Okay, separate minds. So the ego sense, okay, the Ashmita Matra is like Nirman Chittanyavaya Ashmita Matra. The Ashmita can create the mind zero. Okay. So the Ashmita is creating the mind here. Okay. Next we see through the activities of different created mind are various. The one original mind control them all. Okay. So like the Ashmita or the we have created different minds. Okay. These are like the created minds. But there will be one which is original. Okay. So this original will be the master, which control all these created minds. Okay. Next, of the various tatra dhyanaj manashyam, nashyam. Okay, of the various types of mind, only that which is purified by samadhi is freed from all latent impression of karma and from all craving. Okay, so like here we talk about the created mind. Okay, so these created mind will bear the fruits or will have the impressions, whatever the thing they are doing or whatever the things are going on. Okay, so this original mind will be free from all the impressions. Okay, that's the simple meaning of the sutra. Next, it's talking about the four karmas. This is important. Karma shukla ashukla yoginah trividha matresha. Karma is like Shukla karma which are good or white. Krishna karma which are bad. Shukla Krishna which are mixed. Okay. And the fourth one is come of the yogis karma which is neither good neither bad. It's called Ashukla Krishna karma. Okay. Okay. So it's next is saying uh, of the tendency produced by these three kinds of karma, only those are manifest for which the condition are created. Means, like if you're doing good, bad, or mixed. Okay, good, bad, or mixed karma. So, for which one karma, like they all will be bearing some fruits. Okay, so like if the condition is favorable for good karma to bear fruit, so this will go first. Okay, if the condition become favorable for this, so this will come. Okay, just like this. Okay, for whatever karma the situation or the conditions are favorable, that will be bearing the fruit. Okay, or that will be creating or that will be completing that particular sanskara. Okay, okay. So, Big is saying Jati Desh Kal, like even if we change our space, our time, okay, or even the species, so the impressions which are there, okay, they will continue. The memory of these impression or these impression will remain and will continue with us in every birth or at every time or space. Okay, so even if like the atma changes the body, so the impression will be moving on to the next body. Okay, and next it's saying like since the desire to exist has always been present, our tendency cannot have any beginning. So these sanskaras are like eternal. Okay, we are from the starting we are accumulating impressions. We don't know like the first time or like or this is our first birth or something like that. So it's like it's going on from the eternal time. Okay. Uh, next, let's see. So it says like where our subconsciousness tendencies depend upon cause and effect. Cause and effect, like death of birth, we can say, of Purusha Prakriti, we can say. Okay. So we are like mostly connecting with these things. We are attaching with these things. Okay. So if we remove all the things, all the desire, all the tendencies, all the cause and effect, so the impression will be destroyed. Okay. Uh, Next, there is no form and expression we call past and the form expression we call future. Both exist within the object at all times. Okay, it's saying like if there is one object, so all the time period, past, future, and present, all subsiding into this objects. Okay, all the past, whatever is there, the present, whatever the future will be there, so all are in there. Okay, all contained into the same one thing. Okay, so next they saying they are either manifest or subtle according to the nature of guna. So whatever the nature of guna will be there, the form will manifest. Okay, and the next is saying with the gunas, every change in form of expression, there is uniqueness in object. Like if a object, we all know the guna, sattva, rajas, tamas. Okay, so there is like a permutation of and combination going on with these three. Okay, some having sattva more, some having rajas more, some having tamas more. So this permutation and combination creates uniqueness in all things. Okay, and or it's next is say like even if the object is same. Okay, so there will be a different minds, there will be a different perception. Okay, perceive in different ways by the different minds. Okay, every person perceive a same object with different things. Okay, next it's saying like the same, the object cannot be said to be dependent on the, of a single mind. Okay, the um, it's not dependent on the perception of single mind because everyone perceive a particular thing from a different angle. Okay, like I'm seeing a six, the front person will be seeing it as a nine. So everyone has a different perception. Okay, and it's simple saying like when there will be the absence of medium, like when there will be no perception or like we are not perceiving that object, so that will non-exist. It's not there. Okay. So the object is known and unknown depending upon the moods of mind. It's totally depend on the mind. Like how it's perceiving, it's not either it's perceiving it or not. The reflection of object, what's the reflection of object in mind? So that's how the object is known and unknown. So next is saying because the Atma, the Lord of mind, the Purusha is unchangeable. Okay, because it's stable. Only the Prakriti is changing. So he knows the fluctuation which are going there in the mind. Okay, and it's saying the mind is non self-luminous. Okay, since it's the objects of perception, and since it cannot perceive both subject and object simultaneously, so this not self-luminous. These are not very much important concept, I think. Okay, just we are completing like every sutra, and let's see this thing like if one postulates a second mind to perceive the first, then one would have to postulate infinite numbers of mind. This will create the confusion. Simply, like if you're perceiving a mind from another mind, okay, then you need another mind to perceive this, then another, and it's keep on going infinite. So this will just create and confusion with same. Okay. Okay, so it next say the pure consciousness of Atma is unchangeable. The Atma is eternal, is not changeable. Okay. As the reflection of consciousness fall upon the mind, so the reflection of Atma is falling on the mind. So the mind will taking the form of Atma and appears to be conscious. Okay. By the like when Atma is connecting with the mind, so mind will becoming the conscious. Okay. Then it will perceiving the things around. The mind is able to same thing I'm just saying because it reflects both the Atma and the object of perception. It's just connecting the Atma with the object. Okay. So here it's like the Atma, the through the mind is an impression and desire. It acts only to serve another, the Atma. So mind is just serving the Atma, okay? Because it cannot act independently and for its own shape. Okay. So mind is just serving the Atma, okay? And it's working, Atma is working for like the Purusha. Okay. Like Prakriti is there. If we connect it like with the Atma, so Prakriti is just working for the sake of Purusha. And mind is connecting the objects with these Prakriti, or we can say Atma. Okay. Just don't get confused. Okay, now just coming to the final stages. Now coming the Dharma Megha Samadhi. Okay. Like we have seen in the third chapter, like different siddhis are coming. Okay. So when crossing these siddhis, the one who remain undistracted even after getting the siddhi. Okay. So after remaining he remained undistracted, even he is in the position of all psychic power achieves. As a result of perfect discrimination, the samadhi, which is called the cloud of virtue or dharmamik samadhi. Okay. So in this dharmamik samadhi, the cessation of ignorance, the cause of suffering, the freedom from the power of karma. Okay. Then the klesha karma, everything will be destroyed. Okay. There will be no suffering and you will be free from the karma bandhana. Okay. Then the whole universe with all its object of sense knowledge become as nothing in comparison to that infinite knowledge which is free from all. Simply saying that will be at the higher level. You cannot compare it with anything. Okay. Now, next they are saying, then the sequence of mutation of guna come to an end, for they have fulfilled their purpose. Like when we are reaching to that dharma mix samadhi or to near to the Kaivalya, so there will be no changes or no permutation or combination in the gunas. They will be balanced because their purpose has fulfilled. Okay. It's simply saying this is a sequence of mutation which take place at every moment, but which are only perceived at the end of series. So we are like the changes of the gunas is uh, taking place or the mutation taking place at every moment, but will only perceive that particular thing at the end. Okay. Like changes are going on continuously from the starting to the end, but we don't know these changes. Okay. So this whole changeable process which was there will know this process at the end. Okay. It's saying that. Next. So the man of discrimination ceases to regard the mind as Atma. Okay. The mind is different, the Atma is different. Okay. When the mind is bent on the practice of discrimination, it moves toward liberation. It's simply when we are more become discriminative, when we know the true forms, we move toward the liberation. Okay. Distraction due to past impression may arise if the mind relaxes. If discrimination, you're right. But it's simply saying like when we are knowing the true form, when we are just going through avidya, even a little. Okay. So the distraction. Okay. Yeah. Yes. So it's like if we are like going a little bit even for the avidya part, like we are decreasing the discrimination power, so the distraction will be there. Distraction will be there. Okay. Due to past impressions. Okay. And you should overcome them at the same manner you come over the obstacles to enlightenment. Okay. So this is the last. So last they say, since the gunas no longer have any purpose to serve for Atma. Okay. Gunas are there because they are serving the Atma. They resolve themselves into Prakriti. They are now merging with the Prakriti, and this is liberation. The Atman shines forth in its own pristine nature as pure conscious. Okay. So gunas are there for the Prakriti, okay, for working for the Atma. Now they have fulfilled their purpose as they have reached, they have taken this Atma to the higher level. Now they will merge back in the Prakriti or the Atma. And we can say the merging with the Prakriti. And the Atma, which is there, the soul, which is there, is becoming the pure consciousness. Okay. It's finally reaching to the higher soul, that higher supreme power. Okay. So this was the fourth pada. Okay, I have just explained like the sutra, what they are saying, what they want to say in a simple thing. You can go for like if you wanna go like every word, the meaning, you can just refer the book. Okay, I'm just giving the reference of 4 chapters of freedom. Okay, so thank you. Hope you all got this.
Thank you, Sandeep.
You. Okay. Okay, so I'll just stop the meeting. I think we're just 2, 3 people are here only. Okay, the are you there? If you guys have doubt, like we can discuss. Okay, I also don't know the full things as we are discussing, like whatever we know, we just revising. Okay,
Thank you. It was good class actually. Thank you.
thank you so much. Okay, so if you guys having doubt, you can just post it on a group. Okay, so whoever knows or like if I know, I will try to discuss or sort out the things. Okay, I think uh, the is not responding. Let's close the session. Okay, let's you can leave. Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, Ved.
Okay.